Hey everybody, David, thanks so much for having me and for having everybody else. This is an amazing event. Everybody watching, my name is Mark Furstein. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Recapped, and we are the easiest way to collaborate with your customers, standardize your sales process, and enable an excellent buyer experience for your buyers. And really what that means for anyone using the platform is we help them accelerate their sales cycle, we improve close rates, and we drive higher contract values. And the way we do that is by collaborative deal rooms or digital sales rooms, as you may have heard. Um, and we encompass everything in a single collaborative deal room instead of having to scour a million emails and spreadsheets and PowerPoints, content, CRM fields, client stakeholders, back and forth communication, next steps, mutual action plans. Literally, every person that's involved in the deal and every piece of content can be found in one place, making everybody's life easier. Very blessed to be the first vendor in the space. We started about 6 years ago. We helped pioneer the space. We're really excited that the space is really starting to heat up. Digital sales rooms and deal rooms seem to be all the rage nowadays. Uh, there's a lot of great companies out there doing really interesting things, and everyone's kind of taking their own unique spin on it, which is great to see. So, really, today, what I want to do is really talk through kind of how we got here, what we're seeing in the world, how this impacts revenue teams and how they can really put themselves ahead of the competition as they move forward. Right? We've all shifted from a growth at all costs to smart and efficient execution. The world is very different than it was a couple of years ago. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but there's a lot of things that have shifted. One of the things that are now more important than ever is how you sell really matters. Right? 80% of buyers value the buyer experience just as much as they value the product off of Salesforce's State of the Customer. Gartner has countless stats that back this up. In fact, the quote from Gartner that I think is really powerful is that buyer experience is the most important factor for sales and marketing teams. And we've seen a transformation over the last couple of decades. Right? The complexity for sales has gone through the roof. Average of 11 stakeholders per deal now. I imagine this looks very similar to everybody watching that's in sales. Right? Enterprise complexity is now common in the mid-market deals. Even $10,000 deals require a business case with ROI and justification. But here's the kicker. If you think selling is hard, buying is even more complex. Right? Here's another great quote from Gartner. The single biggest challenge of selling today isn't actually selling, it's actually our customers struggle to buy. Right? And this is especially complicated when your buyers are buying something for the first time, or they're new to an organization, or they've never bought anything of this type. They need as much guidance as possible because you as sellers are doing this every single day. You're experts in your craft, but this might be one of one that they've ever done. Right? And ultimately, I think the revolution that we're seeing here and that we're going to continue seeing is we live in a buyer-led world. There's an incredible quote from James Clear that really stuck to me, and he's the author of The Atomic Habits. Fantastic book. Highly recommend you check it out. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Right? And if you're falling to the level of your systems, then how does that impact the experience that you deliver? Right? Because ultimately, that's what all of this comes back to. It comes back to the buyer experience. So you have to ask yourself, are you providing a McDonald's experience or are you providing a Michelin star experience? If you think about it, as sales leaders, we're really relying our entire business on the execution of individual contributors. So my question for you is, how confident are you that every single rep is executing the perfect process on every single customer interaction? I don't, and when I speak for myself, at least for me, it's practically impossible, right? We're humans at the end of the day. There's only so much that we can do, but there's so much that goes into great execution. Are you asking the right question? Are you multi-threading? Are you qualifying and disqualifying deals? Are you building a business case? Are you setting next steps? And so there's three really big problems that I identified as a seller and a sales rep myself, and that we see time and time again from our customers in really the revenue killers that we're seeing today. Right. The first one, in my opinion, is buyer friction and lack of buyer enablement. Going back to what I said earlier, this is the first time they've ever bought something. 76% of champions wish that they were armed with more information that they were selling internally. It's from Harvard Business Review. There are countless stats. If you are not enabling your buyer, your deal is dead in the vine. The second challenge that I think is a really big revenue killer today is inconsistent seller execution. Right? Every single rep is shooting from the hip. In my last role as a VP of sales, I used to joke that I would have 45 sales reps and 90 sales processes. If a rep is having to do something for the first time every single time, there is no consistency, there's no repeatability. And the third really big revenue killer that we see today is lack of visibility for leadership. Right? How many hours are you spending catching up on deals, trying to figure out what's actually going on? And the only way you do that is by sitting down and listening to calls or doing a deal review or asking reps to tell them their opinions on these deals. What if you said you had one place that you could look at and have everything visible there? Not only from the sales side, but the intent signals from the buyer side as well. I think one of the craziest things, I was trying to find the slide, but couldn't find it. But one of the craziest things that when we think about the sales tech stack, whether you're a sales enablement leader or a revenue leader, I don't think it matters because when we look at the investment that we've made over the last couple of decades, everything has gone into top of funnel. Right? We have so many tools for getting leads and contact information and sending emails and outbound and all of this to get a lead booked, but that's maybe 5% of the life cycle. The most critical stage is actually managing a deal, running a POC, closing a deal, onboarding a customer. We're using the same technology we've been using for the last 30 years. Emails, spreadsheets, maybe PowerPoints. And really, that's why I wanted to start Recapped. In my last role, I wanted to clone the best reps that I had. And because when I was a seller, I didn't do it that well my first couple months. Actually, I almost got put on PIP. And a lot of it was because I was shooting from the hip. I didn't have a process. I didn't have a framework. And when I studied and looked at everyone else that was doing so well, the top of the leaderboard, there was one thing in common. They were all very process driven. And really, that's where we are here today. So jumping into the platform, and we're not going to be able to cover everything here, but if you have any questions, please let me know. We can go in and more than happy to walk you through, give a workshop, do an audit of your process. You just let me know. But if we go into the platform, this integrates directly with Salesforce and HubSpot, but as its own platform, we're able to see all of our deals that we're working. Each one of these can be tied to an opportunity or an account, whether it's an account plan or a opportunity. And you would title this as a mutual action plan or a deal room. But let's say I'm a rep, I have a meeting coming up in a couple minutes. I can just go in really easily, select which template I want to use. And from that template, we sync it to an opportunity, we title it, we add some teammates, whatever we want to do. And we just created a living, breathing, collaborative workspace that I can now share really easily with my client. They don't need any usernames or passwords. It's just one link, and it's going to consolidate the entire deal and everything I could possibly want as a seller, everything my leadership team needs, and more importantly, everything that the buyer needs. You're able to control whether something is client facing or not. So for example, on the left-hand side, here we have different tabs. Anything in orange, clients can't see. Anything that's otherwise, we have it here and we can actually collaborate with them. So first and foremost, I would recommend on the left-hand side, we build out a business case, right? How are we arming our champion? Go in and have those conversations when we're not in the room. Current challenges, stakeholders, uh, business case, 3 whys. These are Salesforce fields. We can map it, kind of kill two birds with one stone here. Key criteria, you get it, right? We're really just consolidating literally everything here in one place. We're cutting down on the amount of emails that we're going to have back and forth. The recap emails that we send now can really just be, hey, it was great chatting with you. Here's a link to everything we talked about. Here's our own collaborative workspace. Let me know if I can help you with anything. And so in order to progress the deal forward, in order to be able to multi-thread, in order to uncover all of the stakeholders, we're able to map those out. How many times are we working deals where there's steps that are held accountable for, or that clients are held accountable for, but things fall through the cracks? They're busy, we're busy, it happens. In order to progress the deal forward and create that accountability, you can map out all of the internal steps and client-facing steps. Get automatic email reminders and due dates that go out. We can make it really easy for a champion to have those kind of conversations because everything's at their fingertips by combining it all into our resources and putting all of our webinars and case studies and testimonials and anything else that's in here. If a client asks me about a competitor, I have a page already locked and loaded. If they ask me about proof of concepts and evaluation, I have it ready. I can just go ahead and unlock it when it's time. And of course, there's bidirectional sync with Salesforce. We can map fields and update fields and really manage our entire deal here at one place. And probably one of my favorite parts here is if we go into Salesforce, everything that we just saw is automatically embedded, and there's a nice iframe here as well. This is really just a high-level overview. There's a lot more that the platform can do, but ultimately, just to recap, no pun intended, we really want to help simplify the buyer experience. We want to help enable an excellent buyer experience. And the way we do that is by collaborating everything in one room, making it really easy for everyone to access and manage, which then accelerates sales cycles, increases close rates, improves ACVs, increases efficiency, and more importantly, delivers an incredible buying experience. If you have any questions, if you're curious, if you want to learn more than happy to do any consultations. I love this kind of stuff. Let me know. Feel free to contact me. It's mark@recap.io. And you can also schedule some time directly at recap.io. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. But David, Tenbound team, thank you so much for having me. Really excited to see the rest of the performances here. And I hope this was a value for everybody. Thank you.